Hey nerds, Gleemax here. Today we're going to be talking about the top 5 swords of X and Y. Each of these swords is an artifact equipment, costs 3 generic mana, 2 to equip, gives the equipped creature +2/+2, and protection from 2 colors. As always, this list will be made of my opinion alone. I normally look at cards in the eyes of a commander player. If you disagree with anything on the list, or if you think something should be on a different spot on the list.
At number 5, we have Sword of War and Peace. Sword of War and Peace gives the equipped creature +2/+2, gives it protection from red and from white. Red protection is very good against red sweepers. White protection is less good because white is less played in the commander format, at least from what I've seen. Whenever the equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, Sword of War and Peace deals damage to that player equal to the number of cards in their hand, and you gain 1 life for each card in your hand. This effect isn't very good, but it is mostly useful as a political tool. You can attack the player with the most cards in hand, more or less removing any sort of blame for the attack, as you can always just say, hey, you have the most life. This will have the biggest effect. You can also attack the player with the lowest number of cards in their hand, just trying to get the effect off and try and gain as much life as you can. Because of the political implications with Sword of War and Peace, is number 5. At number 4, we have Sword of Light and Shadow. Sword of Light and Shadow gives protection from black and white in addition to +2/+2. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, you gain 3 life and you may return up to 1 target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. This effect is not the greatest, however, it is a grave robber effect once per turn if you're able to connect with the sword. Protection from white and black isn't the greatest amount of protection, however, with as common as black is in my playgroup, it can usually get in at least once. The gaining 3 life is not what you're looking for in this effect, but it may become relevant if you're desperate for some life gain, if you're playing things like Angelic Accord. Returning a creature card from your graveyard to your hand will make sure you always have something to equip the sword to and keep the value engine going. Unfortunately, it doesn't return it directly to the battlefield, or else this might actually be the most powerful sword, but I do like it for its powerful recursion effect. That is why Sword of Light and Shadow is number 4. At number 3, we have Sword of Fire and Ice. Again, cost is 3, equip cost is 2, equipped creature gets +2/+2 and protection from red and blue. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, Sword of Fire and Ice deals 2 damage to any target and you draw a card. The card draw effect, best line of text in Magic. Drawing a single card every time you hit is really good. Dealing 2 damage to any target is also really good, as it helps eliminate utility creatures, mana dorks being the prime example, and it can also hit face if you don't have any other targets. This is known in my play group for constantly taking out my Alesha commander, requiring me to run more equipment and anthems in my decks to make sure that she can actually survive the trigger. Sword of Fire and Ice is the most basic and bare bones of the swords, but its effects are solid, its card advantage is blatant, and it is definitely deserving of spot number 3. At number 2, we have my personal favorite of the swords, Sword of Body and Mind. Equip cost is 2, mana cost is 3, equipped creature gets +2/+2 and protection from blue and green. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, you create a 2/2 green wolf creature token and that player mills 10 cards. Additionally, with the 2/2 green wolf creature tokens, you can equip those to the sword. If whatever is carrying the sword currently dies, the mill 10 cards is normally a negative. The reason for this is simply because many decks use the graveyard to their advantage, and dumping 10 cards into their graveyard is a negative thing against things like Alesha or Dragon, or anything that constantly uses the graveyard. For the flavor, and because the creating a token is a very strong effect by itself, and the fact that it can technically mill out your opponents, Sword of Body and Mind deserves a number 2 spot for me. And to no one's surprise, at number 1 we have Sword of Feast and Famine. 3 mana, 2 to equip. Equip creature gets +2/+2 and protection from black and green. Black and green being the 2 most played colors in my play group, meaning that this thing can connect very, very often. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, that player discards a card, so you get immediate card advantage once you connect. But more importantly, you untap all lands you control. This is very close to an extra turn effect. You get to spend all of your mana, dump out your hand, untap all of your lands after you connect with a creature with the sword, and you are able to just keep the ball rolling. The ability to untap each land you control is very, very powerful. Because Sword of Feast and Famine is known to be good, and people will target you as soon as you play it. For its ubiquity and for the sheer power level, Sword of Feast and Famine definitely deserves a number 1 spot.
Alright guys, that is the top 5 swords of X and Y. Let me know what you thought of the list. If you have any suggestions, please leave them down in the comments. I'm always looking for ideas for future videos. Alright nerds, that's it for today.
Always remember to subscribe if you're new. Please leave us a nice like and also leave a comment. Other than that, guys, have a great day.